Oh, wonderful. Good. Okay. So I think we got it all now. All right. So, well, good morning to all of you, and welcome to the presentation of the results of our performance review of Richmond city government agencies. My name is John Accordino. I serve as Dean of the Wilder School of Government and Public Affairs here at VCU. The mission of the Wilder School is to serve the public interest, plainly put, through our scholarship, through our teaching, and through our direct service to the community, be it in state government agencies, city, local government, county government, nonprofit organizations, or businesses. We seek through our work to enlighten and to help people understand public policy options and also how public policy can be implemented effectively. Those of you who know the Wilder School will know that at any given time we've got at least a dozen studies or consultancies ongoing, certainly with City of Richmond agencies, but with other state, local government, and nonprofits. Now, organizational assessments such as the one that we're reporting on today are a particular specialty of our performance management group within the Wilder School, represented today by Jim Burke and Linda Pierce, who conducted and supervised the study. And they have done over the years quite a number of organizational assessments such as the one that we're hearing about today. And what's really important about this one, it's through the eyes of the city employees themselves. Is asking them what they think about the work situation and about what things they would like to see improved. I want to welcome our Honorable Mayor Levar Stoney and his whole team who's with us here also today. And quite frankly, I want to commend you, Mayor, for asking us to undertake this study. You know, certainly when you take over an organization, it's appropriate to find out what's going on with it. But we know that, you know, in a political environment that can sometimes be a little complicated. So I want to applaud your courage, really, for saying, okay, let's look and let's see what employees think about their work situation. And I think that we'll be happy in the end that we've done this kind of assessment. I also want to welcome the members of the press. Thank you so much for being here. Your presence here shows that you care and that your readers and listeners and viewers care about the city. So again, let me say we appreciate the opportunity to be of service, and we'd be happy, as always, in the Wilder School to do whatever we can going forward to serve our community in whatever way we can. I want to turn it over now to Mayor Stoney, who will make a few remarks, and then we'll have Jim Burke and Linda Pierce present the study and then take your questions. Thank you very much.
Well, good morning, everyone. Well, thank you all for being here. So today is the day of a long-needed and honest reckoning regarding the performance of our local government. And I'd like to begin with my sincere thanks to VCU's L. Douglas Wilder School of Government and Public Affairs and the Performance Manager Group as well, and the Center for Urban and Regional Analysis. This is another fine example of VCU's partnership with our community. Dean Accordino, I want to thank you as well. The PMG Director, Jim Burke, and Linda Pierce, thank you all for your help on the project too. This review is also the culmination of a true public-private partnership with generous financial contributions from the Altria Group and Dominion Resources, Dominion Energy, as well as time volunteered by numerous leaders in our business community who share in the real vested interests we all have in a functional, high-performing city government. I thank them all. Last but not least, I must thank all those who generated the data and input making this report possible, the many dedicated employees of our city government, all who give themselves each day to serve our residents. Their frank and honest assessments of how our government works, and in many cases doesn't work, was and is very invaluable, and I thank them for their participation. We all know there has been some dysfunction in our local government, and I ran for mayor to lead and help fix that what is wrong. A little over a year ago, I called for a comprehensive performance review of all city departments to be completed within the first 100 days of my administration. Today, we receive the report from the review. a breakdown of the findings and a needed independent professional assessment we can now utilize to better our local government. This helps us identify and determine what is working and needs to be left alone, and more importantly, what isn't working and requires reform and improvement. Some needs and actions were anticipated and are now already underway. Some will begin almost immediately, and others will be more long-term and ongoing. So with that, I'd like to introduce Jim Burke, who will now provide the presentation.
Thank you so much, Mayor Stoney. We're just going to present from over here so we can govern the slides as we roll along. And we do want to extend our sincere thanks to the employees of the city. They were very generous with their time and with their thoughts and passion for making this a better city. And one of the things that Linda and I found is that for a first time for people to step up to the plate, you know, it can always be a little awkward in terms of being asked questions, being part of focus groups, so on and so forth. But they did a great job with that. What we anticipate is if we did this project, you know, checked in 2 years from now, we'd get even more so. Because what people are looking for is, can I speak my mind, can I say what I think, and can action happen? So that forms the core of a lot of the responses that we heard. Linda and I are going to just take you through this presentation then. This is where we started, and this is the heart of what we were doing, is what Mayor Stoney wanted, is his approach was very pro-employee. Let's talk to the people who really know what's going on. Let's talk to the people who see it and touch it every day. And so we started our study with that approach and with that plan. Everybody got everything on? Okay. Anybody else got a mic they want to? So we'll just talk briefly about our methodology.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you all here. We had a three-pronged methodology for this performance review. It started with a survey that was sent to all agencies within the City of Richmond government. And we had, there's 35 agencies, we had 1,209 responses for a 25% response rate, which is about what you would expect. Following that, we had leadership interviews. Sometimes it was with one, maybe three of the top leaders in about 19 of the agencies. Those were extensive opportunities to ask questions about what's going well, what are some areas for improvement, what are some challenges moving forward. In addition, we had focus groups, quite a number of focus groups in 11 agencies. We tried to cast a wide net, trying to get input from various employees, and these were conducted over the course of about 3 weeks. It was pretty intense. Sometimes they would last it all day with separate groups coming in and out. So then what we did was we analyzed the survey results, we analyzed the results from the leadership interviews, and we analyzed the results from the focus groups, and put them all together to generate independent reports for each of the agencies and also overarching themes and recommendations.
One thing to bear in mind too, this is a group that had been surveyed several times, and some people would say, well, did you get my other survey results? And this is from beforehand. And the thing about this is these numbers are pretty good given the number of times people had been surveyed. Think about any time you receive numerous surveys, how many of them do you respond to? So for a response rate, pretty good. So our 5 core areas of recommendation fall under these 5 areas. None of these, I think, will be a surprise to anybody in this room. We're going to look at processes and procedures, systems and technology, culture within the city, and communication. Those 2 are really critical to getting things done in the future. Change, processes of change, and then, of course, people and relationships. These are the foundations sort of almost any organizational environment that you're going to go into, and you're going to be looking at how these are working. And as Mayor Stoney said, there are several challenges in each of these areas. We'll start with processes and procedures.
Okay, this is fairly typical for any organization. There's always room for improvement in processes and procedures, and as expected, that's what we found here. There are some processes that we would recommend could be re-engineered for efficiency and effectiveness. Again, that is not atypical, but we did find that here. In addition, it was found that some processes need documentation, that they're out there, they're moving along every day, but having them documented and then also training the employees on how to use those processes would help the effectiveness and the efficiency. So that's where the education comes in. Some people just need to be trained in how to work, how to maneuver through, especially the shared services processes, which would be in finance, HR, procurement, and IT. And finally, model customer service inside City Hall. This is very typical as well. When you come into City Hall, we want it to be a welcoming place. And when we're working with our colleagues, we want to feel welcomed and like everything is solution-oriented. We found numerous occasions where this is true, but we recommend that this is a core value that is expressed and modeled from the top all the way through to the bottom.
One of the things that we do sometimes is visitor experience. And when you walk into City Hall, what's your initial response? What's your initial reaction? Does it model the healthy, dynamic city that we want Richmond to be, or does it kind of cling to the past in some ways? There's a number of issues in systems and technology that are absolutely critical to the functioning of everybody and to security. First of all, backup systems are critical, especially for emergency services, emergency communication. It's absolutely critical. And we saw that was lacking in many areas. Second, investing in technology wisely. Technology, as we all know, costs a fortune, and very often organizations buy systems that they never use. So they have to be sifted through, buy them wisely, buy them strategically, because it is an investment. And these systems, of course, need to be able to talk to each other. Again, this is not something that is unusual that we found in terms of the city. We found a lot of organizations go through years of having systems that don't work together. But those systems that don't talk together, just like people that don't talk together, result in delays and unnecessary inefficiencies. Finally, educating the users. You can bring a system in, you can bring a technology system in, but if users are not educated as to how to use that, they will typically resort back to their legacy systems. Again, slowing down performance and production. So these are the key areas that we found in terms of systems and technology to be addressed. And just by way of, I think this brings it together in terms of the culture, this affects almost all areas within city government, all areas.
Okay, the next area, culture and communication. Again, not unusual. This often comes up when you do an organizational analysis. The culture in many organizations tends to be a little bit siloed, and as expected, we would find that too. So we would encourage opening up the doors, helping everyone learn what they do and what other people do and how those affect each other. So sharing that information, expressing the value of working together and collaborating, that comes up in the culture. Also emphasize proper communication. Communication can always be improved, and again, sometimes communication can stay up here. Looking for ways to disseminate it downward across channels. Again, it goes hand in hand with that, reducing the silos and bringing that collaborative effect around. Many people have already seen incredible improvements in this area, and they're excited about that. So continuing what is already in place would be wonderful.
In many ways, this study in and of itself forms a nice shift in terms of communication, a shift toward, what do you think? How do you think we can do better? And by starting that conversation with this study, I think Mayor Stoney is modeling that kind of communication moving forward. Finally, change. And this is the key. A lot of the people we talk to, they say, well, we've been through this before, and what's going to be different? And we encourage them to participate and step forward and to really give this administration a chance to make it happen. And this is one of the things that people want to see inside and outside of the House. They want to see something different. They want to be able to do their jobs essentially efficiently and effectively. They want to also, many of them are willing to prioritize change, and the city needs to prioritize change within a short span of time to get it done. That basically the business can't be done the same way it's always been done. We've got to find efficiencies, we've got to work together, and we have to prioritize change. Finally, we do suggest at some point, after a little bit of time, there be a culture survey, just a small internal culture survey to see how are things going. Are we making progress? Are we advancing things forward? Very simple thing that could be done internally, but just to check in and see, are we moving forward at the progress we want to? What we saw in this report, by being asked to do this report, was that this administration wants to see things change, wants to see processes expedited, wants to get beyond the bureaucracy, and wants to get government out of its own way. In this way, you can actually bring in the people that you need to serve the city and also retain the best talent here and not lose them to the counties.
Okay, finally, people and relationships is our fifth core area for recommendations. Staffing and workload, there's some specific areas where staffing shortages present some challenges in efficiency and effectiveness. So we definitely advise on some staffing analysis there and some workload analyses. Workplace improvement, just without a lot of capital investment, but taking a fresh look at where people work and how the workflow is managed through an area can provide some great overall improvements without a lot of investment. Build and nurture relationships. It's really important that people value the work that each other does and that they appreciate it and they express that appreciation. We've heard a lot of that is forthcoming, but just again, to continue to improve the culture by expressing appreciation for the work that each and every one does. Develop the workforce. Training, especially in the supervisory ranks as people are promoted up to supervisor and then again up to manager, that would be very beneficial to help develop that pipeline of future leaders. And hand in hand with that is career pathways. Being able to show people, we appreciate you at the City of Richmond, we appreciate all the energy that you're putting in, and here's a path if you want to advance and stay here, because what we want to do is make sure that the good talent stays within the city.
Just in closing, one of the things that we see is everybody wants sometimes something big, something amazing to happen. What is needed, as the mayor said, is really a sense of how do we make the inner workings of City Hall really work? And that might not be as exciting as it is to some, but that's what the City of Richmond needs. And that will bring about a tremendous amount of benefits to the residents of the city, to the visitors of the city. And by tackling these tough challenges, they're extremely tough challenges, how do we really move the city forward? How do we change the inner processes so that we can hire people quickly, so that we can procure the goods and services that are needed quickly, so that basically our IT systems provide secure networks and provide the things that people need to get things done, and how do we all make that work together with finance, with the city attorney's office? How does all this work together so that we're always focused on doing quality work, keeping things in the right proper procedures, and also getting done what needs to get done? That's the challenge. That is the summation of our report. Where's Stoney?
I'll come wrap it up real quick, and I'll just do it from here since the microphones have migrated over here as well. Well, let's thank Linda and Jim for their work real quick. I think it's very obvious that we have our work cut out for us, but I will say even though it may look daunting, things will get better. Our goal has always been to improve City Hall every single day towards progress. Change does not happen overnight. It will get better every single day. But we have some substantial challenges ahead of us to make City Hall deliver the government that citizens of Richmond deserve, and this report is an important first step towards that journey. Moving forward, our goal with this report is not to relitigate the past or point fingers. It's about the fix. With this report and the support of our employees, our friends at City Council, and our community, I am confident we will get there. I encourage all who work for the city and those who cover the city to read the report. It's 100+ pages, I believe. I know that Ned and Jeremy and Mark and Claudia, you all have a lot of time on your hands, so please peer through the report when you guys have an opportunity. We will now carefully consider these findings and recommendations so as to take the best and most appropriate actions and next steps. This is a map for both immediate and long-term action and initiative. I intend to immediately implement the report's recommendation to create a cross-functional team to prioritize the performance review report recommendations. We will be about the solution and not about the problem. You've heard the challenges. In local government, you have a choice to make. Either you can be pro-solutions or you can be pro-problem. We choose to be pro-solution. So again, I want to thank the Wilder School. I want to thank the Performance Management Group for all your hard work and the time you all spent over at City Hall and actually putting the report together. I know it was not easy, but I really thank you all for taking up the task.